What's up, you podcast addicts? Welcome to the Failsafe Weekly Podcast. Joining me, my co-host, Konetzny AKA Konasty FPV, and Steele Davis, AKA Mr Steele. I'll be your host here, Ruben Jauregui. And I hope you have some clean chonies on. It's gonna be a gnarly ride. Now, let's get on with the show.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Damn. All right. So what is this? Like, what is happening? Who are you guys? And what is this? I don't even know. Am I speaking? Who am I? I need to introduce myself.
Who are you?
I need to introduce myself. Okay.
Just some guy.
Yeah. Like, people just, they don't know. So you got to let them know.
Just another man with a mustache.
So, my name is Steele Davis. And I mean, some people, I make YouTube videos, okay? I think at least 4 individuals out there have seen a couple of videos of mine. And I mean, I think Eric over here, Mr. Konasty, he's made some videos himself.
He got a few.
And then we got this Mr. Ruben up in here, chilling. Making them big ass fucking foamy things, you know. It's like kind of like a foam party, except people don't go away with that. What is that? What do you get when you go to foam parties? Fucking mono.
You take your clothes off and shit.
You get that.
You get that
chlamydia.
herpes. Yeah, that took it a little deep.
You get that needle.
All right.
You get that needle dick.
All right. So I kind of want to start this off like this is new. Like I'm new to podcasting. I think Ruben's been around the block a minute. He has definitely gotten the herpes a few times. And Eric, I mean, we talk all the fucking time, right?
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah,
he didn't
man.
fucking
I'm
talk
here.
at all.
I'm here.
He's just like, I'm gonna sip on this.
I was just getting a little sip
I'm
of
gonna
water,
sip
you
on
know.
this
So
right here while you do that. So I kind of want to like go in the background of where I want to talk about where I started in FPV and where you guys started in FPV. Like, how did you guys get into the hobby? I know that this has been gone over before, but this is going to be like a more raw version of these things. Like, I want you guys to tell me, and I'll tell you all of the little things that like either pissed you off or made you more excited to get deeper into the hobby or deeper into your passion. I mean, because honestly, to me, flying has been always a passion of mine, regardless of if I was flying FPV. I thought I wanted to be a pilot. So, I mean, did you guys have anything that was similar to that? Did you have a notion that you wanted to fly, and then you kind of took on FPV as another thing to kind of fill that hole because you didn't actually want to fly or didn't have the money to fly? Because flying's fucking expensive. So, Ruben, fucking tell me, how'd you do it? I know, Eric, I just cut you off, but fuck you.
No, I was gonna say, dude, you almost like fucking nailed it right there for I think a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, flying in general is an expensive-ass thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I know people complain about flying FPV being expensive, but no. Have you ever modified a car? Have you ever taken a girl on a date?
Ooh.
I'm sorry, but FPV is a lot fucking
a big
cheaper.
girl, man. It's expensive real quick.
One date. Damn, girl, what you got? It's a $1,500 setup you got there.
No, usually like how I started, and I went over this on my podcast, but like my in-laws and my wife got me toys that were flying, and I didn't know what it was. I thought they were always expensive back in the day, right? So I was like, okay.
When's back in the day? Give me some time frame reference here.
Like 2000, this was like 2011, 2010, 2011, and I was like,
damn.
I was already like an apprentice plumber.
Okay, yeah.
And so I didn't I was busy. Like got my wife knocked up, getting married.
Yeah, you were busy.
See, I told you, man. You had the herpes a few times.
So I didn't really know, but for Christmas they got me they got me a vapor, and then my wife got me like a Cub, and then my buddy came over.
Wait, you vape?
Nah, hell nah.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, they got you a vapor.
That shit'll rot your fucking lungs. And then then my buddy comes over and he came out with some air hog. It was the VTL, and we go out in the field and we're flying it. We're like, dude.
And fucking Johnny flew it for you, show you how to fly.
Hey, this is before.
Damn.
So I didn't know, and it just the bug fucking stung me, and I was fucking hooked. So what I did was just went to the hobby shop, the local hobby shop. I was like, "What do you guys got? I need to get set up."
Let me get that.
Yeah.
Was this FPV or was this flight in general?
Just regular flight.
Yeah.
So I had to buy the Spectrum.
Damn.
The DX6. Yeah. Oh, definitely many. And then I bought the UMX Beast, and basically just practiced the shit on that one, and then it evolved.
The UMX Beast, was this the biplane?
Yeah.
Damn.
Dang, I remember that.
That little motherfuckers. I still got it. It's up back there.
Is it red?
Yep.
Fucking prove it.
All right, Eric, fucking spill your beans.
Prove it.
Well, I mean, that's like not even deep. That's just like kind of how you got into it. I guess we can delve deeper into it later. So
Yeah. Let's
what's
get a
the
little
initial?
deeper.
We gotta ease it in. You got to massage.
Okay,
you got to massage it before you go full
The
in.
initial. What was the inspiration? Who fucking lit the fire under your ass?
I watched this. I don't know if you know him. His name's Mr. Steele on YouTube.
Was it YouTube that fucking got you on this shit? Because I'm pretty
no,
sure.
No, actually, okay. No, honestly, this is what got me on it. Was I got a 3D printer to start making prototype parts for motorcycle parts and shit at my shop, and I went on Thingiverse. That's that fucking website where you could like see what other people made of models and everything. And inside of that was like a whole fucking thing of people 3D printing drones already and shit and everything. There's like the hover ship dude was like his first one was like print like a 3D printed model before he started doing carbon fiber shit.
I remember that.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like, oh dude, this thing fucking folds up and shit and everything. It was like a fucking pre-Mavic, you know?
Yeah, what was that thing called?
I
remember it. What was it called?
Fuck, I don't even remember now. It was the hover ship. Wasn't the Zool?
It was the Zool, I think.
No, not the 3D printed one. The 3D printed one was like before the Zool. The Zool was the Zool. You could fold it over too. And it was this
I
big
remember
fucking square.
Chris Brand, not to drop a name or anything, but him flying a Zool one day, and I was like, "The fuck is that?" And why is the GoPro inside of it? Because like when that came out, it was like the only like people don't even know. Like, well, go ahead, continue. We're gonna talk about that too.
But okay, so I fucking 3D printed that thing out, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I got a fucking bunch of those like remember the Sunny Sky fucking motors and shit. Yep. Every fucking basic thing you could like put on there, Naze 32, all that shit. And I didn't know anybody on YouTube or anything. I just strictly saw this fucking thing and the layout of how to make it, and I went to my park and it just was like just hovering it and flying it line of sight and stuff. I had a that Turnigy DX9 or whatever controller I got, the shitty one. That's like the Tyrannus fucking knockoff.
Is it the hover ship MHQ2?
Yes, MH. Yeah, that's the 3D printed one. And so I had that controller and I was flying around, and then I'm in Southern California. It's like hot as fuck. I didn't even think of it. I threw that shit in my car, and then I was like, fucking didn't think anything was going to happen. I went back to my car, and it was all melted like a fucking dolly painting. And shit, like, it was all warped. You couldn't fold it back in or anything. It was horrible. Yeah, it was fucking bad. And so I was like, oh, this sucks. And then I was like, they got to make this shit out of something else. Not everybody's like going to be warping their shit. Then I went on the internet and discovered the underground world of fucking FPV, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
That's when you were like, Mini Quad Club, what the fuck is that?
I still think that. I'm still like, Mini Quad Club, what the fuck is that?
Oh my god! Wow. So, and then that was it. That was the initial introduction,
dude. That was it, and then I just started fucking. Like, I started finding shit, like, different guys flying. Actually, Metal Danny was the first dude I fucking found. Yep. Before, like, Sharpoo and all that shit, I saw Metal Danny, and I was like, this dude's ripping through a forest. Yeah. Like, I got trees like that around here. Yeah. I'm building.
I'm gonna find me a Metal Danny forest, I'm gonna rip it.
Yeah, and he was flying, like, the Cobra fucking...
2204, 2300s? Oh, no, he was running 2204, 1980 or something like that.
1860.
No.
It was like 1860s or something.
No, it was 1960s.
Or no, 1980s.
1960s.
1960s. Yeah, 1960s. Okay, he was flying that shit. I just copied his whole fucking thing. I was like, that's when people used to put PIDs into their fucking description on YouTube.
I remember that.
So like, so you'd be like, oh, I didn't even know what it was. I was always like, what the fuck are all these numbers and shit with these letters? Like when I first started, and then like once I found out, it's the coordinates where he's flying.
Dude, people do that on my shit. There's this one dude that comments on my videos that literally puts the exact global coordinate to every place that is in my video, and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? God. Why are you going in? I don't know. Go ahead, quit.
Dude, okay, but off topic. Speaking of that, do you ever see fucking flight videos? Like, I'm just saying this because I just saw this like before we started talking. Flight videos of people visiting your area, and then they're flying like somewhere where you've flown, like in your area, like your spot, and you're like, who the fuck took them there?
It's like so super secret. And you're like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, but it's not like it's a big deal. Like, I don't give a shit. But like in a sense, it's kind of like sacred to yourself, where you're just like, who the fuck took him to that spot? This dude's like fucking from out of state. Like,
locking down them
Who is
spots,
it?
trying not to give them out.
He's trying to
People, dude, there are so many.
absorb
you ever do that,
your
though?
aura, man.
Dude, I got some creep stories that I can. I'll bestow them on you very shortly.
Uh-oh.
But I'll give my little introduction of like
Yeah.
how I got into this stuff, and then we'll delve into all of the obnoxiousness that will not end. I can guarantee you that it will not end. So, around Christmas time, and I've told this story many times, and I'll try to go into a little bit more of different detail this time. So, Christmas time, every year my grandmother would buy all of the grandchildren some kind of RC something. Like, as in the last, 5 years, not forever. We always used to get Legos and shit when I was younger. So they would always get something RC. One year we got boats, one year we got cars, one year we got amphibious cars. Then this last year, or 2013, she got us toy helicopters, like little coaxial style helicopters. And I was like, shit, I mastered it immediately. Like, we play with them after, it's like Christmas Eve, early Christmas present opening at my grandparents' house. You fucking open that shit, and I was like ripping around the house with this thing. Because, flight in general had been something that I was super interested in. And honestly, I was dating this girl when I was really young, like 21 or so. And we broke up, and I was like, I need something to do different. And I was like, I'm going to fucking join the Army, and I'm going to become a pilot. And, I'd always wanted to become, an Apache pilot. That was, my thing. I wanted to fly Apaches. And... yeah, I was talking to my friend that I met on Craigslist. A buddy of mine named Dave that I sold some car parts to in the middle of the fucking night. And he's a warrant officer that had just gone through all of his flight school training. And he's like, dude, man, you will be out by the age of 26. And you, you only have to commit you only have to commit so many years. You get prescription Ray-Bans. It's fucking dope. You're going to fucking love it. But it's really hard to get an Apache pilot. Like, you might get Jet Ranger, or not Jet Ranger. You might get something else. Like, you might get a Chinook pilot. Anyways, long story. That didn't end up panning out because I kind of got into RC really heavily at that point. So I got that toy, bought a toy on Amazon, then immediately bought a fucking F450, or not an F450. I'm looking at cars these days. A 450 Align helicopter because I was psyched about helicopters. And flew that thing for about 2 months. And then right around my birthday, I ended up buying a Gaui X5, which is a bigger helicopter. And then kind of started researching. I went to the local hobby shop to kind of figure out how to set up the flybarless systems, because flybarless stuff was coming into really hot that year. It was 2014. Flybar was going out. Flybarless stuff was coming in. Which a lot of the drone guys are not going to know what that means, but basically there's a little bar on the top of the helicopter that kind of stabilized the thing with a gyro. It kind of assisted the gyro to keep the helicopter stable for a single-bladed helicopter, not a quadcopter. So it was not flight controller related. There's gyros on there, but it wasn't like a helicopter with a flight controller on it. So I went up there to ask about that, and I stumbled across this fucking huge thing. It was an S1000 with a GH4 underneath it. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, well, for those of you that don't know what a S1000 is, it's a giant hexacopter freaking, actually, is it an octocopter? I think it's an octocopter. It's a DJI thing that they carry big cameras underneath. And a GH4, which isn't that big of a camera, was a big camera in 2014. And I asked about it, and they were like, oh, yeah, this dude named Robert, or what's his name? Phil Grossman. He's like one of these dudes that is one of the first people to fly drones in Chernobyl. And he works for the Weather Channel, and he flies drones, and that's what he does for a living. Now, I'm going to spoiler alert, that wasn't his job, and that's not what he did for a living, and it had nothing to do with, like, he does stuff that's not related to drone flying to make money. But someone put that image into my mind of, you can fly drones and make money. And I was like, I just got out of college. I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to work in a cubicle. I'm like starting to rock climb. I don't know what I want. And drones sound fucking cool. So I started researching drones, stumbled across Team Black Sheep, and that's how I got into FPV, was through the notion of I could make drones make me money. So I could do something that I like to do, which was flying RC, and then create a career out of it, regardless if I actually liked flying drones, because at the time I thought drones were stupid. And I think all people that fly helicopters then definitely thought drones were stupid. And it was just like, yeah, those are fucking dumb. Like, why would you fly that? You can just fly a real helicopter. But no, like, it was a thing. It was for carrying cameras, and that was the whole idea. There was no such thing as, like, mini quads yet. And then, yeah, I got a Discovery Pro, and then right around that time, the Blackout Mini H Quad came out, which, if no one knows what that is, it was a 220 millimeter carbon fiber quad that cost $175 plus shipping from Australia.
And how, dude, remember how long you had to wait for that? It was like come in
hype train on so many new levels.
Oh my
People were like, wait, you wanted a Blackout? And like, if you met someone else with a Blackout, it was like you had to marry that guy. And like, this was
friends immediately.
This was not a time when marrying men were accepted. Okay,
it was you had to get Open Pilot with it too, right?
Yeah, Open Pilot was like, that was
it was like $90 for the fucking.
So let me just tell you about the cost of my first setup. Okay, let me just spit some info on you. Okay, so I get a lot of complaints about how expensive this hobby is. Okay, again, like I said, there is other hobbies that are a lot more expensive. Even one date with a large female could potentially be as expensive as buying one aircraft. I know I'm gonna get shit for that. I'm sorry, I can't help it. It was an early on joke. It's probably gonna be brought back up years from now. Someone's gonna be like, dude,
I think it's gonna be brought back up probably every other episode.
You fucking said that, and you used it, and yeah, okay. So, anyways, you know, a Discovery Pro is not a cheap quadcopter. I bought it used on Craigslist. Like, and this was kind of a common thing. You could find a lot of used shit because people.
Is that the same guy you bought the car parts from?
No, it's a different dude. I bought a lot of shit on Craigslist. All right. So
right?
What happens is, like, in the quadcopter industry at this point in time, there would be people that would buy these things. They'd spend all the money, and then they'd get it all, and they'd be like, I don't know fucking how to assemble this. And like, yeah, there were step-by-step tutorials, but it was a little less step-by-step. It was like, and then you plug in the USB, and then like it would fast forward, and all of a sudden this thing would be perfectly working, and you're like, what the fuck happened? And then you'd hear about some PIDs for an Alex Moss gimbal that no one fucking knows what the fuck that means. So anyways, so when I bought this stuff, I bought that thing for what, I don't know, like $1,000, and then I was like, oh wow, I have a Tyrannus. I got my ham radio license immediately because I was assuming that I was going to be doing long range. So I was running 1.3 video and 433 megahertz easy UHF with fucking sander whips and all kinds of gnarly diversity receivers and shit. I was going to go to the moon. Okay, that was FPV to me. And I think FPV to everyone when they get into it is how far can you go?
Fuck yeah.
It has nothing to do with how much fun you're gonna have or how
far, how high, how fast.
It's the initial questions that you get asked by people with Phantoms, but you do it. You're like, I'm getting into this. I'm fucking going to the moon. 5.8 is not gonna cut it. 2.4 is not gonna cut it. I'm going to the fucking moon. So, anyways, I went to go buy all the stuff, and I called Get FPV because at the time Get FPV was pretty much the only thing out there. And there was a dude named Sean there. And I was talking to Sean on the phone every day for like a week, trying to figure out what the hell I should buy. And he's like, oh, this new mini Blackout H thing just came out. You should totally get it. I'm like, well, that's a kind of expensive. It's like $200 for some carbon fiber. And at the time, like, if you don't know anything about carbon fiber is baller. You're like, oh, it's fucking $200, whatever. It's carbon fiber. I'm gonna spend it. Can't buy the G10 because G10 was a cool thing. Did you ever have a G10 frame?
Dude, I had a G10 frame and like
it exploded immediately.
No, you have to remember, like, when I first got into it, everything was 6-inch, so it was like I still had a lot of torque there, and I was like flying it, and then the next like 4 packs later, I'm like, why is this thing wobbling like shit? And I looked at it, and the frame was like warped up from the fucking force.
Oh my god!
The back of it was like all like twisted looking. I was like, fuck this material.
Yeah, no, G10 was a popular material, which G10, for the people that don't know, is just a fiberglass, essentially. It's just a particular type of glass fiber, I guess.
Yeah, it's good for prototyping or something, but it's shitty.
It's not that bad. I'll give it, like, I will say Schizo had a G10 X-Hover frame, and he couldn't break it. But it did have 6mm arms. It was a beast.
Yeah, that's like the shit you put on knives. Like, leave that for putting it on knives and shit.
Yeah,
and chew toys.
It's easy to cut.
As you could tell, I'm the person in this group that's against the fucking G10 thing.
Yeah, well, I've never owned a G10 frame, so I don't know what it's all about. But
isn't G10 like a fucking like really expensive airplane or something, or is that a G6?
G6, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm talking to Sean. He's like, "Yeah, just purchase this stuff." I'm like, "All right." So let me do a rundown of that list. Which I still have the receipt, okay?
Ooh.
I can prove this shit.
Oh, my God.
I have all the receipts for everything that I ever
You need
bought.
to post that, like, on your Instagram or something.
I should. I have a whole box of every receipt for every single thing that I've bought in this hobby.
Oh, fuck.
I have over $15,000 worth of fucking shit that I've bought for this hobby. And that doesn't include, like, travel or anything like that. So... let's see.
So suck it, fuckers.
So hold
you want to get
so,
started now?
Let's see. So the first thing, you got the frame, $175. Okay, you got blue 12 amp Simon K ESCs. Okay. Now these things were $12.99 if you bought them from Hobby King, but then you had to buy a fucking flash tool, and then you had to wait fucking 18 years for it to come from China. Okay, so. They had Simon K rebranded Lumineer ESCs, which were essentially pre-flashed Simon K, which people that don't know what Simon K is, it's like a really, really shitty version of BL Heli 8 months ago. Okay? So think BL Heli 8 months ago when you had to flash each ESC through this stupid-ass suite. And then think like 6 months before that, and then think 100 caveman years before that, and then add a little bit of electricity. And it's basically a rock with a little tiny bit of electricity, maybe a lemon with some zinc and copper attached to it, and that's essentially what we're talking about here. That was the technology that we were dealing with. All right.
Yeah, that shitty ass little dongle thing.
Yeah. No, it had like a little plug that you would go over the little Atmel processor, and you'd flash that shit.
I still got mine over here.
You got your Atmel plug?
Yeah.
Gotta turn on that active braking.
I got mine in my office right over here too. I have like 2 of them. One was for like one was a little tiny fucking one that went right into the servo wires of the ESC, and the other one I could like plug in. I think it was like to the fucking like KK2 boards.
Oh my god! See, I came in right after KK2, so that's a little too old for me. And I know there's going to be someone that's like, oh, I was around before that, but this is kind of when the industry boomed. Oh, I see that shit.
Yeah, there
oh my
it is,
god,
man.
that thing
That's
is ghetto.
Flasher right there.
Yeah, I don't know why I still have them, but they're here. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just kind of like a thing that you have.
Because like, yeah, when you have it, you like in the back of your head, you're always like, you never know, I might need it, even though you'll never need it again. But it's soaked into your brain now.
So, anyways, we're talking about an ESC that would normally cost you like $12 and then like 13 hours of hassle to get it to work.
Yep.
So you could buy them from Lumineer for about $20 a piece. So you got $80 in ESCs. You got a $170 frame. Let me. Do you guys know how much the motors were?
I think they were like $50-$60 back in the day, like for a good fucking motor.
No, dude, I think I.
Oh, I know. I'm just
for one tiny.
The Cobras, I think the Cobras I paid for at the time were like pretty economical price, and they were like $24 a motor at the time when I bought them.
That's cheap. I was all
which
about
was
the
like,
quality
it was
shit.
A deal.
What was it?
What do you know about?
Yeah, like T-motor.
What do you know about
and shit.
T-motor?
Yeah,
Freaking.
Yeah, I was gonna say T-motor back then.
Those
was
are fucking.
expensive, dude.
Woo,
What
doggy.
do you know about 1806s with 2 mil mounting screws?
Yep.
That were $43.99 a piece.
Yeah.
40 fucking $3.99
Hey.
for an 1806 that produced, I want to say, 600 grams of thrust.
Whoa.
Hey, that was one reason why
Dude,
I got the fuck
when
out
I
of
was
like
at-
mini quads.
when
I was like, fuck this. It's too much work. I fucking just chucked it. I got out of it. I couldn't do
And
it.
it had a detachable prop adapter as well, which would explode on impact, and you would never
Dude,
ever
what-
get another one.
When I was at your house the other day, was that the motors that you had in your basement? And you were like, hey, grab whatever you want. And I was like, looking at those, and then you're like, you know how fucking much those were? Or something. Was that the same motors?
Those are the 2206s. That
Oh,
was
okay, 'cause
that was
that
like in
was-
this
Oh,
cool
fuck.
little fad. There was like a fad when the Blackout 330 came out, which was like when everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna
Okay,
go."
'cause I was like, damn, you still have those motors? Those look clean as fuck.
No, they're 2206 2000 kV. Everyone
Oh,
that was
okay.
when people switched over to 4S, and it was like, "Oh man, you got to go down in kV and run fucking 4S, and you got to run a 5030. If you run a 5040, it's gonna
Yeah.
explode." So let me finish up this
Right.
list real quick so we can get on to something else. So we're not even 3 components in yet, and we're already almost at like $400.
I went
worth of
quick on
shit.
mine.
Dude. Like $400, and you're not even 3 components deep yet.
Yeah.
You don't have any FPV gear. You got no camera. You got no receiver. You got nothing. So
Jesus.
you got motors, $43.99 a piece. You got ESCs, they're like $20 a piece. You got a frame that's $170 a piece that you cannot get replacement parts for because it's a blackout, and the hype train is just fucking through the roof. And there's about 30 people in the world that are just hogging the shit out of them and hoarding all of these things. Okay, which Tommy is one of those assholes. He has like 6 fucking blackout frames just hanging out at his house. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna just fucking buy them all. I don't know. No one's gonna get them."
Yeah, dude. The first time I went over his house, I looked at his fucking pegboard of like a million fucking drones, and I was like, "That's where all the fucking blackouts
Yes.
were." I was like, "Holy shit!" I had one, and I would just struggle to get replacement parts on all the time. And then thank God, other companies started coming out and more technology of different shit I could choose from. But yeah, the first time I went over in his garage, I was like, "This motherfucker."
Yeah, he was fucking killing it with all those blackouts. So let's do a little tally up here. So we got $44 times 4. Then we got plus $175. So just with the frame and the motors, we're at $350. Then you got $80 for ESCs, and then we had a freaking. I got an international 1.3 gigahertz
VTX?
transmitter, and that was about $79.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say that's big
we got
money.
$79.
Right
We're at $510. We haven't even bought the flight controller yet. I got a CC3D, $100. Okay.
Oh, God damn it.
there. Dude, how much was your board cam then?
Board cam. So it was a PZO PZO 420, which was like the baller status
Yeah.
camera that you had to
that's what I'm
had
saying.
to clip the edges off of because it
Yep.
was too big to fit in the fucking thing. All right?
Yep. That
So,
stupid fucking.
Those things
old-
were, I want to say, $69.
Yeah.
So we're at.
Dude, exactly. Like, I think it's funny when people fucking complain
And this
about
is-
like, "Well, it's $40 for a camera now." I'm like,
And-
dude, a fucking board cam that was like unprotected as shit.
And
was
this
so
is
much
running
money.
a 2.8 lens that was the baller lens, was a 2.8 lens, and angle wasn't a thing.
Nope.
Like there was no such thing as running camera
No.
angle. Everyone just ran 0 camera angle. And like I started
Yeah.
realizing that 0 camera angle was kind of detrimental to flying quickly. So I started like I would make these little spacer things with zip ties and fuel tubing to kind of push the angle up, but you could only really get about 15 degrees of angle. And if you got more than that, then you'd see the top plate, and it was like useless. So we're basically flying blind all the time. And I know it's back in my day, but there was no such thing as angle. Like you're just flying at 0 angle all the time. And you're not a wing. You don't just fucking.
Staring
You're not
at grass.
tracking in a straight line, ripping balls. All right. You're fucking looking at the floor and then going, "Oh, what the fuck?" and like pulling up and looking around. So then you got antennas. Okay. So I bought VAS 1.3 like CP antennas because CP is where you want to get, right? Big fucking grapefruit. Okay. Those things were $40, maybe more. Let's say
They're
$40.
around there.
And then you had an SMA adapter. SMA adapters were like $5. for a 90 degree. Okay, a 90 degree SMA was $5. How is that a thing? Eric, you there?
Yeah, okay. I'm here, dude. It's like my video fucking froze me in time in the funniest fucking face.
It's pretty
I'm
dope.
just gonna fucking leave it until it comes out of there. It looks like I fucking farted, right?
It looks good.
I'm just like,
it's like the happiest moment of your life right there.
Face is looking buttery.
fucking buttery.
And then you got I was running what were they? What were those things called? D4R. I was running a D4R, which was a PPM
D4R,
receiver.
Yeah.
Those are $25. So
do they even make those still?
D4Rs? I don't even know. I don't think they make them anymore. It was a PPM receiver, which essentially PPM was like the baller status because everything before that was just standard.
Dude.
Like it was, you had to run.
Now those I soaked up like fucking Tommy, dude. I soaked up a lot of those when I saw they were installed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were hard to get.
Yeah, they were hard.
And then let's see. The only thing left is you got props, and I bought $300 worth of props immediately, and they were all 50-30 freaking gym fans because that was basically all you could get.
The 50, yeah.
So
yeah, 50-30, and then the 50-40s were like the big thing. The 50-40
that
gym
was
fans.
like, that was a new thing. Like that didn't come out yet. So basically, for a 3-cell blackout mini H quad with 1.3 video. Oh, I had a PMP 50 too. I ran a PMP 50 immediately. That was like, that was something that I was like, I don't really know.
From the Discovery or what?
No, so I actually watched this dude named Flohio1177 or something like that. I don't know if you guys remember him. He came out with this frame called the Chaos frame, and it had like dihedral in the arms.
I remember
and
that.
Johnny used to fly for him, and they went to Dubai. And like I thought.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know he was around that later on.
Yeah, no, he basically was at the top of his game, and then kind of fell off the face of the earth. And then he picked up Johnny, and he called a bunch of people, and he was very rude. Like he called me, and he's like, "Hey man," like I think he sent me an email first, and he got me on the phone, and he was like, "Hey man, I want you to like come work for me in Dubai. We're gonna make all this money, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, I'm not really interested in moving to Dubai to work for you doing something with drones. This is like early on. And he's like, well, fine. And like just fucking hung up. And then I see him in Dubai when I went there, and he's like, hey man,
what's up, bitch?
Like we're fucking friends or something. Like I don't know. I don't really have anything personal against the guy, but he was kind of a dick to me, and I've heard other stories. But regardless of the situation, I watched his videos, and that's what got me into the 1.3 situation and UHF and running PMP 50 because he was running a PMP 25. So ran a PMP 50. Those things were $100 at the time, PMP 50. So we're at $850 plus tax, plus shipping, and that's just for the aircraft.
Get a wing.
Yeah, for real, like
God.
For real.
Damn
we're
it.
at $850 for a freaking 3S blackout that produced, on a good day, maybe 2,000 grams of thrust total, and the thing weighed about 800. So you're like, what, 2.5 to 1, maybe on a good day?
Yeah, but dude, how much fun were you having?
Yeah.
I have a video on my channel, and I was grinning from fucking the back of my cranium all the way around to the other side of my. It was just so much fun,
dude. I think that's what a lot of people are missing now. Like the people that are getting into this hobby now, they're like so fucking pissed off all the time. Like, my shit's oscillating, it's not working. Da, da, da. My shit back then, I was smiling, and that thing was like, through the fucking air like half the time.
There is
Unbalanced
a
prop,
weird
fucking everything
misconception
up.
of this perfection that you have to have with mini quads and make them fly super smooth, and like literally that's a new thing. That's not something that's been around for that long. Like quads they've always kind of oscillated. I want to go back and watch some of like Metal Danny and Boris B's videos and like some of Carlos's videos. I'm sure there's just mad fucking jello in those things.
All right, so what was the grand total on that bad boy?
I did it one night. I went back and watched.
So what was the grand total on that one? What did you say? 8?
So it was $850 just for the drone itself.
Fuck, dude.
That's just like, that doesn't include batteries, that doesn't include the radio, and I bought Dominator V1s, which were also fucking hype train because they had a modular, like attitudes were the standard as far as goggles were concerned. So I bought Dominator HD V1s, or they weren't even HD, they were just Dominator, and they were black. And they were like $350.
You were spending some dough.
Fuck.
Dude, I don't like to fuck around. Like I said, I always try to fly the best shit. And it's, in this industry, the best shit is not that expensive. Like
Well, hey, you know what? You know what though? Like you came already from the heli side, so you kind of had like, because heli pilots like the best shit. I noticed.
Yeah, why
heli
wouldn't
pilots
you
like
want
good
the
shit.
best shit?
No, I get that, but like, say for me going into it, it was a little bit different. I came from the fucking 3D printing side, bro. It's a little different.
I know you. I
And
know
like-
people like
That's
you.
code for Eric. Eric was being cheap.
I came. Yeah, no. Not that it was. No, not that I was going cheap on anything. I mean, I was still trying to get like legit stuff, but like, you have to think like I came in from the side of it where I was like, I 3D printed this thing. I don't know if I'm really gonna be into this, so I don't want to spend a lot of like money right away unless I know like I'm gonna stick with this.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that at first, but then as soon as I like flew and figured it out, I went right to your route very quickly. But I think there's there's definitely a section of people that don't just fucking drop it hard like you do. You
there? You good?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm good.
basically, like my mindset of coming from the 3D heli line was these things cost $1,000 to $2,000 for the helicopter, and they explode when they hit the ground. Explode.
Fuck
Have
yeah.
you ever seen a 3D helicopter hit the ground? It's basically something. It's like tying a I don't even know, like a mini bull that's just, like it's got the rage of 1,000 peacocks that are in heat. And then you just like tie its nuts up into a little ball and then release it into a
visual right now.
into a small room full of feathers and flowers and baby children, not just any children, baby ones. Okay, they're like toddlers, but they're even smaller. Okay,
They're half
those
size.
things all combined. That's what a helicopter looks like when it hits the ground, and it's just not pretty. And the reason these things usually hit the ground, aside from pilot malfunction or pilot error, is equipment malfunction. So if you had a really fucking nice helicopter and you put shitty equipment on it, like you put shitty servos or anything like that, then you were basically just asking for a disaster. You're asking to pay money. You're asking to spend money. And my whole philosophy with building these things and building anything in general is you want it to be as perfect as it can be. As in, you want it to act like there's nothing that there's nothing wrong mechanically that's going to cause you to be, I guess, not ready for what's about to happen. So like when you're flying on a simulator, there's never anything differing. It's always the same because it's a simulator. It's supposed to be a perfect world, right? So you want to create the perfect world in real life by having the best gear available, which back then the best gear available was basically, if you just went on Banggood and blindly clicked onto a ready-to-fly quad, it was probably half as good as that.
Oh shit! So I gotta take it back.
Yeah, no, you're dead.
Hey, you don't want to know my. I'm cheap. I'm cheap as fuck. I've been getting by.
I know. It works, okay? It works.
Yeah,
if you want to get in the air, it works.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, I realized early on that my time is worth a lot more to me than the money that I'm going to spend on something like this. So if I spend fucking 4 days trying to figure out some ESC flashing thing because I bought cheap ESCs online, where I just could spend maybe $100 versus $80 to get something that just works out of the box.
Yeah.
I'm not spending 4 days of my time fiddling around with BSC flashing, right?
But you know how to do it.
BL Heli.
You know
Like,
how to
that was
do
the
it now,
beef.
though, right?
Dude, I don't touch anything.
No, but you know how to do it now, though, right? Like, let's say if you had to.
I learned.
Yeah.
And honestly, I forgot now. Like if someone
okay.
asked me to do something, like I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore.
But if you're starting out, like even knowing how to do that is a fucking skill that you have one up against somebody else, right?
It is. It is a skill.
Yeah, you hear that, everybody? Everybody has a one-up against Mr. Steele right now.
Dude,
This fool doesn't know shit.
I don't know anything.
Hey, I just saw a fucking, was it the latest video, was it Rotor Riot? And then Kevin was, I guess you set it all up and through the fucking board, it updates all the fucking ESCs. And I was like, fuck, we're at that stage now?
Man, That's like fucking 2 months ago. Kevin just made that shit. Like, it was fucking...
My bad. I'm not part
He's
of
been
the mini
sitting on
quad
that
world,
little
so I
piece
don't
of
know.
information for months.
That was like, what's that one fool that's on YouTube? That's like 2 months ago. Fucking Josh Bardwell, bro.
My bad. I'm not.
It's not that hype train, yo.
You guys-
No, I'm just
Just
kidding.
come
That's
out of
actually...
nowhere.
You guys are gonna have to keep me up to date on this new shit. You guys, them rascals, gotta keep me up to date on this shit. I was like,
Dude, it's
holy fuck!
Right? Yeah. Steele's just like, man, I don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I don't fucking fuck with any of that shit.
no. I mean, like, so in reality, like,
thought it was pretty cool.
really don't do anything. I don't touch any quads anymore. I just kind of go fly them.
Okay,
They were.
so quick question: if I was to say, okay, dudes, what the fuck do I need to get started? What should I get? Like right out of the bat, what the fuck should I get? So I don't have to tune it. I don't want to plug it in and flash bullshit. I don't want to do none of that stuff. What
All right.
should I get?
You're going to have to flash bullshit.
God damn
I'm
it!
just gonna give you that one. All right. It's not.
Yeah. There's no getting away
There's
from
no
that.
getting
I
away
know
from
what
flashing
you're doing.
bullshit.
I
You
just do
gotta
the
figure out
horn.
how to download some stupid DFU bullcrap firmware or freaking software on your computer, and you're gonna have to figure out.
Time to bring out that fucking cable.
Good thing I
again, bro.
kept it.
No, you got to figure out how to get your drivers linked up on your computer, how
Fuck.
to make this thing talk to the computer, and I mean, all of that stuff you're never really going to get away from until it becomes like an integrated app, and then if it's got a problem, you'll just have to restart it. Just turn it off and turn it back on, and it fucking works, right? That's how everything works these days. But I will say that from like a general standpoint, and I've done a video on this before. People are like, "What would you recommend if they came to me?" And again, this is my opinion. This is not the end all be all thing, okay? This is my opinion. If someone came to me and said, "Hey, what would you buy to get started in this industry?" I would say, I would buy exactly what I have. Why? Why would I buy exactly what I have? Because it's freaking reliable. Okay? Yeah. I know you're gonna crash it. I know it's expensive.
I will.
But it's reliable. I've been flying it for over a year. I have changed frames because there's so many vibrations through so many batteries that it's actually softened the carbon. I'm not changing frames because I've crashed these things.
Shit.
I'm changing frames because I've flown so many times that the little vibrations caused by the motor have actually delaminated the inside of the arms on my quadcopter, causing the arms to bend a little bit more than I want them to bend.
Oh man.
So if that's not reliability, then I don't know what is. I don't know too many people that are changing arms out on their quad because they've flown them too much.
Yeah. All right, Eric.
Unless you're flying that
Eric,
G10
what would you
shit,
get?
so.
What would you suggest to a person not knowing?
So I'm like the opposite from Steele.
You're like, I
So
go to Banggood. I go to
when people
Banggood.com.
approach me and ask me like, "Hey, what do I need to get into this hobby?" I go, "Listen, fool. This is like, let me tell you, this is what you shouldn't fucking get." And then I go down a list of all the things that have fucking failed for me. I'm like, you probably have heard of race flight if you're just getting into it. Don't fucking buy it. You've probably heard of Spectrum if you're just getting into it. Don't fucking buy it. I just go down and I'm like, here's the things. Then at the end I'm like, here's what you should get. And then yeah, they got a good setup. So
That's crazy.
I just try, I just try, try and avoid people from like bad things. It's like, hey, don't go running into the street.
I mean,
you might get hit by a fucking car.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah,
dude. I'm just trying to help these fucking solo FPV.
This is the thing, because I know, like in my realm, right? The shit that I deal with, a lot of guys are coming from mini quads that are going, to the fixed wing, and they don't know, right? And so I'm like trying to kick them some knowledge. So for me, I feel like I'm in the same situation where I don't know shit, right? And I'm a fucking noob. So I got two of the fucking, the OGs here. And I'm like, well, what do I get, right? Like, fuck, I got $60. Do I buy this or do I buy this one over here? Like, should I spend more and get the one with the pink lips on it, or should I get the one with the fucking, the polka dots on it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Me and Steele are like fucking Tupac and fucking Biggie. I mean, obviously I'm the Biggie, he's the Tupac. But we're both about to get shot right here.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Because a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of guys who are going to hear this are going to be new to the sport, new to the new listeners. They're not going to know. So, I fit in a category. You guys fit into like a skilled category, and my realm's a little bit different. But dude, that's a lot of people fucking are curious about this shit. Because there's every week, man, there's some fucking new shit, new antennas. I'm watching FR Sky, and there's like a new fucking RX, and I'm like, fuck, do I got to get this one too? Like, where do I put it?
Yeah. Where do I put it?
Well, that's
Where do I put
that's the fucking
that should be a safe word, huh?
That's the industry right there. Like, that's just some people got to make money fucking making shit though.
Yeah.
Do you guys even remember, like, most people coming in the industry right now, they see Lumineer, and they think like Lumineer is fucking Lumineer, but like before that, it was Get FPV was basically Lumineer, and yeah, like.
No, like
that was weird. And then before that, remember FPV manuals?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean Lumineer is essentially a Get FPV brand.
Yeah. That
is just rebranding things and putting Lumineer on it, and it's like it's just Get FPV.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so I mean, there are so many little things that have kind of taken a turn in a way that you can almost hide things by changing the name of it. And not saying that they are hiding anything. But it's just like Lumineer is actually Get FPV.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like Toyota, Lexus, Dodge, Chrysler. Those two. They have those two brands. And like it's like that. Like Hobby King has their own like Turnigy brand that they own, and it's like another company within the company.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Turnigy is a company within the company, and it's kind of like noted that way. But I think that the Lumineer brand, I think from most people's standpoint, they think it's like some high quality brand that's coming in and selling through Get FPV, when in reality it is Get FPV. So it could be slightly deceptive, and no one knows that it's. I mean, they make good products. I'm not gonna lie, there are some good products, but they have had bad products. Mm-hmm. Along with every other company out there, and you just don't know until you try them or until you know someone that has tried it.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the reality of the hobby and just everything. There's so many new products coming out.
Mm-hmm.
How do you really know what to buy? And that's kind of my other philosophy as well. Like, you buy from people that are reputable in the industry.
Yeah,
you don't go and say, oh well, there's this dude making frames down the street. Like he says he's good at making frames. Like, I'm gonna buy 3 of his frames. Like, you might, because you might actually know the guy. But if you're going online and basing your information off of some blog that you've never heard of the dude, and I'm not saying you have to follow the biggest names, but the people that have the names in the industry, they're not just good pilots.
Yeah.
There are reasons that these people have these bigger names, and it's because they've either led people in a great direction, they've changed something, they brought something to the table that was enabling other people to get inspired by what they were doing. And I've seen this all the time. People are like, I mean, I get comments by people that are getting into the hobby, and they're like, how do you control this thing? You're the best in the world at this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not even close to the best in the world at it. I'm just good at.
Girl, have you seen Ethan, bro?
Dude, yeah, like for real. I mean, Ethan is like one of the best pilots I've ever seen, and he's just chilling, like doesn't care, just hanging out in Hawaii, living his life, like a young kid going to school.
Like the best location, man. The best freaking location.
I think if you asked him, he would be like, "No, it sucks. It's too windy. I got to wake up at like 6 a.m. to go fly at all." So
yeah.
But I do agree that, I mean, there are so many things out there. There are so many fantastic pilots, and it's difficult to make a name for yourself. But it was always difficult to make a name for yourself. It's not like all of a sudden it's just. I mean, it is saturated. But if you're doing something unique, and you're doing something that's meaningful, then people are going to grab onto it. And there are a lot of people that are doing that these days. So,
and they probably still won't see it because it's oversaturated.
No, I
No,
do.
I'm just kidding. No,
There's a truth to both ends, man. The amount of content.
I just say that because I see so many people always complain that they're just like, nobody's watching my videos and all this stuff, and I'm always like, dude,
No,
come on.
No, what you're saying is true. What you're saying, both you guys are true. If you're already popular, everyone's going to follow you. You have a following already. When you're new and you're trying to get started, no one's going to see you because you need to generate those views. You need to show people what you can do. And if you have 10 subscribers, there's not going to be that many people checking out your feed because it's not going to be circulating into the more popular. And plus, you need to work on what you're tagging, how to produce it when you upload it. I'm not saying I'm the best, but Steele probably can show us motherfuckers how to do it. But I don't know how even me, I got to make sure I put the tags in and so people can see it. So if you're
I think it comes down to if you're new into this, that's when you have to really start putting in work. You gotta to get noticed. You can't just be throwing up your flight videos and be like, why aren't people watching my videos? No, you have to literally try and put out something quality as much as possible, more constantly, so you're in front of everybody's face constantly. That's the only way. I mean, you have to put in the work to it. You can't just expect to get big doing nothing. Nobody gets big doing.
I mean, what and define big too, because when I got into the industry, I didn't necessarily see that YouTube was going to be a thing that I didn't think that was going to be where I would be at. I thought YouTube was a way to gain exposure, but I figured it would be somewhere I would be a quote unquote professional drone racer, as in working either with DRL or with drone nationals or whatever you want to call that company that probably doesn't exist anymore. But there were so many people out there that you kind of locked on to the idea of drone racing being a career. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but when I got into this stuff, I actually did work with DRL, and I went to their very first shoot with Tommy.
Dude, I remember those pictures and everything of you, Travis, and Tommy.
Yeah, Moke. Me and fucking Tommy and Travis.
Yeah, Moke.
Tommy and Travis.
Yeah, and what's her name too? There's that one chick too.
I just know Kitty Copter. I don't know her actual name.
Kitty Copter, that's who it was, Kitty Copter. And I remember seeing those things, and I was like, what is this? What are they trying to do with this? They're all posing in front of a brick building or something? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it was super weird.
Yeah, and then I mean now everybody understands where they were what direction they were trying to go, but at that point in that time, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing.
I don't know.
Well,
I could be
you
got to
think
that's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, so when I got into that DRL stuff, when they reached out to me, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna put you in front of millions of people on TV, and you're gonna be famous." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, that's cool. I'll do whatever you want me to do for free."
Really?
So
Zip.
yeah. So that's how it always is in this industry. It's we're gonna expose you, and you're gonna get exposure, and that's what that's why you're flying for us, right? So when you
we'll give you a frame.
Yeah, so that's
and a T-shirt.
Even the sponsorship
Don't forget a
thing.
T-shirt.
So I get sponsorship. People ask me "Oh, blah blah blah. You must get so much free stuff all the time." Well, yeah, I do, but I'm not asking for free stuff in return for anything. Yeah, I just do my own thing, and I've gotten to a point where I can just say if I need something, then I need it. And I use it, and people like what I do, so they are going to like the products that I use, because I'm always been known for using the stuff that I consider good quality. And I'm not gonna say that it's the best quality in the world, but at the end of the day, it's been working for me really well, and I can't complain with it. And I've been gracious enough to be gracious enough to be, I guess, influential enough to say, "Hey, I like your stuff. Can you send it to me for free, because I'm giving you guys a lot of exposure?"
Yeah.
And that doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen in any industry. Usually someone will do something that's a jaw dropping, eye opening, not jaw opening and eye dropping. like I was about to say. But they'll do something that gains the traction in some community, and then a sponsor will reach out and say, "Hey, do you like coffee?" Yeah, I do like coffee. Do you want to listen to our coffee ad and maybe introduce it into your social network? No, I don't. Do you want to do it for money? How much money? And then it just like, and then it kind of like, oh, well, $300 and oh, okay. Well, I might be able to pay for like my child's diapers with that. And it just kind of grows from there. Like that hasn't happened yet. And I'm not saying it won't, but it hasn't happened to a point where like I have to do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool thing about this industry, and especially in the position that I'm in right now. And that's I know that's not it's not a position that other people have, and I take it for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was gonna say. Like maybe I feel like that's what in this industry, the people that are like that's what they consider being like getting big is when like stuff is just getting thrown at you, because it is a good question. Like what is considered like being big, like what, like you've made it or something, you know? It's really hard to say in this industry. Like,
well, I mean, there's not really pros. There's no
means.
such thing as a pro FPV pilot, really. I think like this is I hate doing this, but like I've kind of pushed into that. Pushed into that thing. Like I pushed into being a pro FPV pilot, but I'm not a pro FPV pilot. I'm really a YouTuber that flies FPV that also does other things to generate revenue.
Yeah.
It's not I'm not going out and flying FPV only and making a living from it.
Yeah.
So like I think people get that common misconception of, oh, Steele's an FPV pilot and he makes like enough money to live. Yeah, I do, but I also do a lot of other shit, and I do a lot of work in different areas to make the money that I do to be able to do what I want to do.
Yeah, but I think you're like the biggest person in that position that's slowly breaking down the wall towards being like having the label of like a pro FPV pilot.
Yeah,
like you're like, you know, there. I mean, there's a few. I mean, obviously now there's a few more with like say the DRL thing and people getting like.
But is
paid
that
sponsorships
really
through that stuff,
that really like pro? Are they actually doing it on a sustainable living? It's not. Is it sustainable?
No. Okay. My opinion, I don't feel like it's totally like a pro thing yet, because I just feel like that's a group of people with a lot of money that could pay people to like be actors in a sense to film.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially
how I still kind of look
to
at
me.
it.
To me, it's almost, and I don't want to like. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus
until you could get drafted by another FPV team to race.
Yeah.
Then
well, I mean, I think it's very much like video game athletes. They're very specialized, and there's an age limit and there's a window of opportunity that these people are enabling. The sponsors are saying, oh look, their twitch muscles are only good from 18 to 26. After those years, they're done. Like, you can't fucking play anymore. Sorry. And how those people are making money in the industry is they're not only being professional players anymore. They're going into coaching and teaching and doing things that are enabling them to make
influencers in the way too.
Like, dude, you remember like Walshy or some like professional Halo 2 player? Like, he's probably working at fucking Publix. Who knows? Like, or you know, he could be a really big coach on one of these e-gaming things. Like,
dude, he was sick though. I remember watching the YouTube videos with him, and I was just
dude. There's so many like people like that, and if you don't take advantage of it at the right time, then you're not going to ever do anything with it. And that's kind of what I see this whole racing thing is like, yeah, you can be a professional drone racer, but it's a very, very small window. And drone racing in general has a very high probability that you're going to get crashed into. You're going to have a video problem. The luck involved with drone racing is so much higher than the skill involved that it just doesn't really make sense to be a professional drone racer right now. There is nothing that's making that stuff feasible as far as an occupation. Like, you could get paid for a season to do something, but it's almost like, oh, you were on Cupcake Masters 1997.
No, what you guys are doing?
What the fuck is Cupcake Masters?
What you guys are doing? What you guys are doing right now by making the vlogs and doing that? It's you know it's showing people. It's like Casey Neistat, right? people are fascinated on his stories and the way you guys are telling stories. You know, people like that. So if the drone racing shit falls through, at least you have a safety net, right? You got something to kind of like help you out. You're generating buzz, you're generating content, you're doing something that you like, and you're making, you know, really good content. And people are really attracted to that because they're interacting with you. You're showing them the fucking epic footage. And, you know, if you're aging and your hands are like, you know, can't do it, but at least you can fly, you know, majestically down a street or something, or a fucking hill or something.
I like streets.
I couldn't think of I was trying to think of something else. But yeah, I mean, what you guys are doing is perfect. I mean, like, if you take Steele, for instance, he's generating his brand for himself. It's his safety net. Eric, you're doing the same thing. It's just, you know, you're trucking along too, but you're doing something that is.
I got a real
you
job,
got a real
bro.
job too. Yeah. So that's the same thing, and what you guys are doing now, people are really fascinated by that, because I'm watching your guys' sub numbers and I'm like, God damn, it's fucking climbing. It doubled. Holy shit, where the fuck? So people love.
I'm creeping up on Steele hard right now.
No, but I remember you were like, I think you were around like 2,000, 3,000, and now you're at what, like over 4?
Yeah, dude, I remember when I was like trying to get to like 100 though. Like
I remember 1,000 was like, oh my god,
like,
what the fuck,
dude. For me, like everything past 100 right now, to where I can make like my own like URL, like for my own channel. Like everything's just been fucking like icing on the cake since 100. Basically,
I'm complete. No, but it's good though. Like what you guys are doing, good, because all those guys who are watching you, you know, those guys out there look up to you, and you're motivating them. It's like, again, like the Casey Neistat. You know, everybody's like doing that whole thing right there, and the way he does content, we're seeing that in our realm. And it's a safety net, man. You have to do it if you want to get better. You're gonna be out there working. You're gonna be out there recording. You're gonna be out there flying and shit, dude. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
There's
that's
nothing
what I was
wrong with
saying
that.
earlier. Like I was like, you gotta hustle now. Like that's what I was saying.
now
Like if you're not hustling,
Do it.
yeah,
do
it's
it.
almost like a
more
point
than-
that
Do it!
I feel like there's a level of where it was so much easier back in the day, like
No. I'm saying now
that you got to
of, like,
hustle
how I
all
was
the
saying it.
time. All right, I've been hustling my
Yeah.
ass off since I started in this industry.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm saying how I was saying earlier. How I was saying like, people are just saying like getting pissed because they're like, nobody watches my videos or anything, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you're coming in now, right now in an industry, like you have to hustle. It's not like before. I mean, honestly, think about it. Before there was like only so many guys. There was Metal Danny, there was Charpoo, there was like Tommy.
yeah, but
you,
they
like,
were good pilots, but there were also other good pilots out there. It
Yeah.
wasn't just based on.
No, there's tons of good pilots, but I'm just saying like the demographic was a lot, I feel, smaller compared to how many people are flying now compared to how many people were flying then.
Yeah.
To where now it's like, you're like, dude, like, don't think you're gonna come in and just be like, I'm like fucking, you know, Johnny FP. Not to, you know, put names, but you get what I'm saying. It's the first name that came on the top of my head. I was gonna say like Ringo Starr FPV or some stupid thing I always see on Instagram.
I gotta
Johnny FPV. Just
I
sounds
gotta
good.
turn his sound clip up.
Yeah, and then just be the next fucking big
Yeah.
thing. Like Johnny hustles. You know what I mean? Like everybody has to like hustle with what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, people.
It just nothing comes to you, man.
Yeah. Takes work, man. It takes work.
Takes a lot of work. It takes, and I think that's just kind of what we're like. This isn't all about us talking about work. I want to let people know that this is
we're just venting.
this is a huge this is something where I want to come in here and we have a page. We're gonna do something where we can get comments about how people can say, look, like, we talk about this. Like, I know that you don't want to talk about that, and this podcast, I mean, we're creeping up over an hour now. I want to kind of bring this to a close, but I would like to generate not I mean, I know that there are other podcasts out there that are bringing drama and bringing all this stuff to you guys, but is the drama, is it localized? Like, I don't really deal with the quad community that much as far as the drama is concerned. I'm fairly detached.
It just pops up here and there, I think, and then like I found this community to be very much like high school in a way. If you do watch the Facebook groups and all that kind of things, where it's like that's why you do have like the hype train on parts, and if there is drama, it kind of just like goes on for a few weeks or something and all that. So it's kind of like going to school, man. Like, you know, someone's got the new you know, Nike Dunks or something. Everybody's got
the Reebok, the Reebok pumps.
Like, it's the pumps, bro. The fucking the BKs, you know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know what all that is. You guys are older than me. I just know the Austin Powers when he's like going through the time where he missed because he was frozen, and he's like fucking going. Like squeezing on that fucking little pump thing, and it explodes like powder in his face. It's like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. So
no, I think the good thing is like I think we could bring some good knowledge and stuff though to a lot of people and everything instead of the drama all the time.
I want to bring
and all that, but we have to have a good mix of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main goal with this is for me to tell, like, we're just going to converse. Like, I want you guys to talk about the inspiration and what keeps you in the industry. I mean, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs with FPV. I know, like, right now there's a huge down in Atlanta. Like, everyone in Atlanta is kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to fly anymore. I don't know if this is a thing. And this is like a reality, and I want to bring the truth to people. Like, I don't wake up every day and think that I want to go out and rip balls. Like, it's kind of it comes and goes, and I'm still inspired to fly. I still love flight, and I still love flying FPV, but I have generated other interests in other areas. I mean, I didn't video edit before I started flying FPV, and now video editing is one of my favorite things to do. I love coordinating songs and coordinating flights and little experiences and being able to show people maybe not necessarily the exact experience, but in an experience that's edited in a way that makes it the way that I remember it or something like that. I mean, everything has a negative, and I'm trying to, at most, bring the positive out in everything that I do. And it's hard. It's very hard. I think it's just life.
That's what I was saying. I think we're in the same shoes, right? Yeah, I think we're in the same shoes right now with, like, I mean, for me, it's like, I'm not motivated to fly right now, and then like my goggles just went out on me too. I was talking to you about that, and I'm like, I don't really care. It's kind of nice. It's like a nice break for me right now, just because the motivation's not there. But then, in the same realm of things, I'm like, oh man, I haven't made a video in like a couple weeks or something, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make a video that's not even FPV related, just because I enjoy making videos now. Just as much as I enjoyed flying, and I'm pretty sure once I'm back to flying again, I'm going to be enjoying that too. It's all a good escape. Yeah. That's what I like about all this stuff. It's like
inspiration comes in many forms and shapes. I mean, I have people message me on a daily basis saying that I'm a huge inspiration to them, and I help them through a particular time in their life or a particular incident. And I mean, I could say the same for many people, not even pilots that don't even know that they helped me through something, or even like Casey Neistat is a fucking great example of a dude that just, I don't even know what he does, but he's fucking inspirational. Like, he doesn't even do anything. Like, he just fucking runs around. Like, it's basically like GTA in New York, but it's like it's inspirational to watch. I don't know, and sometimes I hate what he says, and other times I love what he says, but I'm not gonna go on his freaking YouTube and say, you're a dick.
Yeah.
Your man bun sucks. Like, who fucking cares, man? If you watch the video enough to get enough information out of it to call the guy a dick, you probably watched enough to rethink your comment.
Yeah.
But whatever. People are going to do what they're going to do, and hate is a very easy thing to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the comments when I get those on my YouTube, like, I just delete them, like disable their ability to comment.
Damn, fucking straight hack sword. Report that shit immediately.
I do. I'm just like, I don't need this in my life, and I'm just like, click.
Hey, well, this will be good because, like I said, we open up that section where people can ask questions. It's not like, you're not trying to be like totally negative, but a lot of people are curious and they want to know, how it actually works behind, the closed doors. And, maybe you could shed some light on some of the situations that you guys have experienced. And like some of the shit that I got to dealing with other like companies and
Yeah, dealing with companies is a huge thing that I don't think people even realize.
Yeah.
Like, sponsored pilots deal with these companies. They deal with contracts. They deal with all kinds of stuff that people you don't hear about it because no one wants to talk about it. Everyone's scared.
Well, here...
Yeah, that's the
I think
thing.
here was going to be a perfect spot.
For me, definitely, I feel like I don't want to be scared or anything ever. I'm not. I think all the time I'm always pretty open about everything. And I'm a big sarcastic joker, but like half the stuff I'm joking about is actually true. So,
but the funniest shit in life is true. All right,
the
funniest shit.
Hey.
You can't make some of that backsis stuff up.
This is the one thing I try to tell everyone, like on my channel, on my page is like I say some dumbass shit, but it's relevant, right? And I try to keep it in a light-hearted manner. Like, I'm not digging on. I'm just saying, hey, why the fuck is it this much? Like, why this over here? This one's broken because it's cheap ass shit. Fix your shit, I'll buy it, and keep it that way. Like, I'm still gonna go through them. I'm still gonna support them.
Are you talking about Spectrum?
I'm talking about Hobby King. So shit like that. Like, I'm not. This is one thing that I've learned to kind of adapt. Is that we're talking about it, we're making it relevant. We're bringing them in a conversation. People are still aware of them, and they're still going to shop to them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people are still going to go there. We're still bringing them into the conversation and making them relevant. So I can't say don't go there, right? People are going to make their mind up, and they're going to go there regardless because that's what they like. It's what they're familiar with. It's what their friends have. So. We're gonna keep it lighthearted. God damn it! It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Damn it! All right, well let's call it a night so we can get these people's ears off these earphones because they would explode if they continued.
Hold on, wait. I want to try one sound clip before we go. I got to figure out which one it is. Should we do the double rainbow or the no guarantees?
Yes. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Right. Yeah, I think we got.
We'll let you guys guess to figure out what this one is.
Mom, get the camera! It's a double rainbow!
That's Willard.
It's so beautiful! I love it! Double rainbow has my children!
Boom! That's it for this week. Link up with us next week here on Failsafe Weekly Podcast, where our links are locked in. Like what you're hearing? Make sure to follow us on all the social platforms and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next location. Peace.